How did JavaScript simulate private object properties before ES2022? Imagine trying to keep certain parts of your code hidden from everyone else, like secret ingredients in a recipe. Before the year 2022, JavaScript didn't have a built-in way to make object properties truly private. So, developers had to get creative to hide data from outside interference. One popular trick was using closures. Think of a closure as a special box where you store secret information. You define variables inside a function and then return methods that can access those variables. The outside world can call these methods but cannot see or change the secret data directly. It's like having a safe that only the methods inside can open. Another common approach was using WeakMaps. These are special objects that can hold key-value pairs where the keys are objects. Developers would create a WeakMap outside the object and store private data with the object as the key. Since the WeakMap isn't accessible from outside the module, the data stays hidden. When you want to access or change the private data, you use the methods that have access to the WeakMap. It's like having a secret locker that only certain functions can open. Some developers relied on naming conventions. They would prefix property names with an underscore like private property. This was a way to tell other programmers, hey, don't touch this. But it was only a suggestion, not a rule. The property was still fully accessible and modifiable from outside the object. It was more about discipline than enforcement. Using symbols was another method. Symbols are unique identifiers that can be used as property keys. Because symbols are not visible in normal object property enumerations, they made it harder for someone to accidentally access the property. But if someone knew the symbol, they could still get to the data. So, it was a step toward privacy but not a guarantee. Finally, some developers used module scope encapsulation. They would define classes or functions inside an IIFE or immediately invoked function expression. This kept certain variables out of the global scope, so they weren't accessible from outside the module. It's like hiding your secrets in a private room that no one else can enter. All these methods had their limitations. None of them enforced privacy with the language itself. They relied on conventions, discipline, or indirect access. Reflection tools or debugging could sometimes reveal the hidden data. Closures and WeakMaps involved more complex code and could impact performance. But these patterns were essential for managing data privacy in JavaScript before the language added native private fields in ES2022. Now, with the new syntax using the hash symbol, JavaScript can enforce privacy directly, making it much easier and safer to keep object properties hidden.